Hi, baby, let's go.
Alabama anthem. Don't throw your hands up. Put up your onion. I ain't talking about Atlanta. I'm talking about the ham. I'm talking about the bill. ALABA, this where I live. Alabama where I was born. Alabama where I'm Alabama anthem. Don't throw your hands up. Put up your onion. I ain't talking about Atlanta. I'm talking about the ham. I'm talking about the bill. ALABA, this where I live. Alabama where I was born.
Alabama, where I was born, Alabama, where I'm from. You gotta love the intro, right? We've had a great season of doing tidal wave talk. What's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard Sports Media, believe it or not, coming at you 5:25 in the morning on Wednesday. Recording this for you to get it out on Friday. Man, we got a couple busy days ahead of us with Thanksgiving. I know the holidays are here. I hope everyone has a blessed holiday. Eat a lot of great food. Spend great time with friends and family and loved ones. And, of course, for this college football community, I hope everyone gets to watch all the games they want to watch and don't spend all your money on one game. So spread it out. But we're here today with Tidal Wave Talk, and this will be the last Tidal Wave Talk of the season up until our bowl game. Unfortunately, with Alabama missing the SEC championship next week, we congratulate LSU and Georgia on terrific seasons to get to Atlanta. You look at this Iron Bowl, this will be the Auburn Tigers unranked 5-6. Taking on in Tuscaloosa the number 7 Alabama Crimson Tide, who has found ways to rise up in the rankings, bouncing back from their 2 losses to Tennessee and LSU, leaving them at 9-2. What's at stake in this Iron Bowl? Alabama, believe it or not, there is a lot at stake in this Iron Bowl. For Auburn, it's bragging rights and bowl eligibility. For Alabama, it's bragging rights, winning a 3rd straight Iron Bowl. Actually, is it 3rd? We won 2020, 21. Yeah, it'd be a 3rd straight Iron Bowl win, extend the win streak to 3 in the series. And if Alabama wins, they have yet another 10-win season. They've gone 10-2 before. They've missed the conference before. They're kind of in that situation of 2019. Only the difference is their second loss was the Iron Bowl. They already have 2 losses going into it. And if they do lose this game, which I do think is possible but unlikely, they will be 9-3 and have their first non-10-win season since when? I guess 2007, since Saban's been there. They lost 2 regular season games. Actually, I think they lost 3 regular season games in 2010. They lost the Iron Bowl to Cam Newton. They lost to South Carolina. They lost to LSU, but they did win a bowl game to end up having a 10-win season. So I think they had beat Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. But, hey, let's get into this year's game, man. Enough talk about records and stuff. Although this game is built on records, Alabama currently on again, I mentioned a 2-game win streak over Auburn. This game set to be this Saturday, November 26th, a 2:30 Central kickoff time. Auburn comes into this game looking for bowl eligibility, as I mentioned, and Alabama looking for yet another, at minimum, 10-win season. The spread is very high. It is Alabama minus 22 points. The over-under, I didn't make a banner for, so I got to look, 49. I think that's reasonable. I believe personally in this rivalry, anything can and will probably happen. Auburn can possibly play it close. They could possibly pull an upset, in my opinion. I don't take an opponent like that lightly. I know they've struggled this year, but there's something about this Iron Bowl rivalry, that these two teams put it all on the line and give it 110%, give it a little bit extra every single year when they play. Um, Again, this is the 87th. Alabama leads the series 48-37-1. I think we had one tie back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. But for the most part, Alabama has, I don't want to say dominated the series. I mean, they lead by 11 games. It kind of is back and forth in ways. This isn't like the third Saturday rivalry, although I give credit to Tennessee for winning it this year. This isn't like with Tennessee where Alabama has had these incredible win streaks over Auburn. I think the longest win streak at the Iron Bowl, if I look back, I think it's 9 games, and it was back in like maybe the 50s or something like that. Let me look because I am actually curious. Longest win streak was Alabama on 9 games from 73 to 81. And Alabama, I mentioned, is currently on a 2-game win streak from 2020 and going back last year in the 4-quarter ball game. The 8-quarter ball game and 4 overtimes, like I want to call it. Auburn has yet to win in Tuscaloosa since 2010 when they won a national championship with Cam Newton and Gene Chizik as the head coach. So there's a lot of streaks that could be broken in this one. I don't think that there hasn't been a unranked Auburn team to beat a ranked Alabama team since 2002 in Tuscaloosa when Auburn won 17-7. When you look back at it, even in 2019, Auburn was still ranked. 2017, it was a 1-6. 2013 was the kick 6, 1-4, winner take all type of showdown. You have to go back to 2002, the last time a unranked Auburn beat a ranked Alabama team. Alabama was ranked number 9. Auburn was unranked. And the score was 17-7 in Tuscaloosa, by the way. That was the 67th Iron Bowl. And that was back before I guess that was Thanksgiving weekend. I don't know. It was on November 23rd. But anyway, get back to this year's matchup. There's a lot of history. We could go down the list. And when we get to the offseason, we'll do some more Iron Bowl archives for our college football flashbacks. I know we did the kick. There's so many we could pick from. 1972, punt, Bama punt, where Auburn won 9-0. You could go Bo over the top in 82, wrong way Bo, and Bo Jackson in 1984. There's so many different ones, even from an Auburn standpoint of games they have won. The spread is Alabama minus 22 points. The question is, do they cover that? I'm going to say they probably don't cover it. They come pretty close. They still win by a good margin. But I think 22 is a bit much. You look at Auburn coming in. They got Robbie Ashford and TJ Finley as their quarterbacks. I think they definitely have changed the offense with Robbie Ashford. He's got over 1,500 yards throwing. The lead rusher is Tank Bigsby, who's got 907. You got Javarius Johnson, who's the lead receiver with 473 yards, 25 receptions, and 2 touchdowns. You got some other guys you can watch out for: Jarquez Hunter, John Samuel Shanker, Cedric Jackson, Coy Moore. These are guys that the Alabama secondary might have to put up with this Saturday that will have to shut down to keep Auburn from scoring points. Tank Bigsby, the lead rusher, 164 rushing attempts, 907 yards, his longest rushing play of 50, and he's got 10 rushing touchdowns. You look at the defensive side for Auburn, Owen Papo is the lead tackler. He's a linebacker. He's got 82 tackles. The lead interception leader on the team is cornerback Jalen Simpson, who's got 2 picks. I mentioned Owen Papo. Him and Derek Hall is an elite linebacker duo off the edge. 6.5 sacks for Derek Hall, who I think is more than NFL ready. He's got 6.5 sacks for 36 yards. He's got a pick for 19 yards. He's forced 2 fumbles, recovered at least one of them. He's got 58 total tackles on the year. Owen Papo leads the team in total tackles, and it's not even close. He's got 82. He has 2.5 sacks for 18 yards. He's defended 3 passes, has yet to get a pick, but who says you need a pick to be a defensive lineman? This guy has a lot of sacks and, sack yard loss and just a lot of great tackles. And I definitely think that they could play a factor in this game for Auburn. The question about Alabama, though, here's the thing, right? What Alabama are we getting? Is the defense going to show up and play 4 quarters, number one? And number two, is the offensive line going to show up to protect Bryce Young? If it does, great. We have a shot in this game. If not, Auburn has defensive skill players. I just read you some stats with Owen Papo, Derek Hall, whoever. Auburn has those guys that if Alabama's offensive line does shut down, they can get pressure on Bryce. They can make this like last year. Remember, last year's game, it was scoreless for most of the game, and it went in, even though Alabama won in 4 overtimes, Auburn led for most of this game, and it was up 10-0 in the 4th quarter. So, it's a game where anything and everything probably can and will happen. I say it all the time. Now, I do think Alabama's going to get the win. I do expect Auburn to lose this game. But believe it or not, I do expect it to be a little bit more competitive than we think. I think that Cadillac Williams, as the interim coach, has turned the culture around, has turned the program around a little bit. I do think Robbie Ashford should have been from the start their quarterback this year. That just wasn't the case. I mean, he's got over 1,000 yards. He does have a 49 completion percentage, and TJ Finley has a 62, but that's because TJ Finley has taken the most reps. The only thing I'll say is Robbie Ashford, look, TJ Finley has only 1 passing touchdown. He's got 4 picks. Now, Ashford has a couple red flags, because he's not perfect. I mean, I don't think he's ready for the NFL. He's got 20 sacks. He's got 7 picks. But what he does have compared to the other quarterbacks is the touchdown lead at 6. And he's got a long play of 62. He averages 6.8 yards a pass. He's got over 1,000 yards. He has a good QB rating. He's not perfect. And he's probably going to have a long day on Saturday against Will Anderson and Dallas Turner for Alabama. It's a great possibility. DeMarco Hellum's out there for Alabama to mention. Henry To'oTo'o, Brian Branch, Jalen Moody, Jordan Battle, Terrion Arnold, Byron Young, Deontay Lawson. I could go down the list of guys that you could see in a Crimson uniform this Saturday for the Crimson Tide on defense. So I do think it's going to be a long day. I do think Auburn puts up some points. I think that they have a fast tempo and could go pretty quick. And I do think there's an advantage to Cadillac Williams, not being there the whole season, changing it up last minute against Alabama. Because I think if Brian Harsin were coaching this game, we could probably shut this team down altogether. It's a great possibility, but that's not the case. Brian Harsin is out the door. You have an interim coach in Cadillac Williams, and is it good enough to beat Alabama and pull an upset? Probably not. But it's also one of those where for a little bit in this game, it's possible it's still good competition and probably something for us college football fans to enjoy. So. All right. I've said a lot. Obviously, you probably hear me talk too much, but I think I'm ready to get into my prediction for the Iron Bowl. This is, again, the 87th Iron Bowl. And, this November 26, 2022 in Tuscaloosa, Alabama leads the series, I mentioned, 48-37-1. For the most part, they kind of own Auburn all time, but it is still pretty close. It is back and forth. It is competitive. It's always been a tremendous rivalry. It's always meant a lot to everybody in the state of Alabama. I'm ready and pumped up, man. I hate Auburn. I really do. I don't hate the players. I don't hate the coach. I don't hate people. But it's one of those things. You see this logo here? I'm trying to point at the Auburn logo. You see that logo? I look at it. I just want to throw up. Ugh. Really? But then I look at the Crimson Tide. Take it in. Relax. It'll all be all right. Now, let's get real for a second. Does Auburn have any chance on God's green earth to pull an upset? Knowing what I've seen in this rivalry, yes. Upsets have happened a lot in this rivalry. Do I think it's going to happen? Got to be smart and say no. Again, I mentioned the spread earlier, and it's minus 22 Alabama, right? If Auburn wins, they're bowl eligible. If Alabama wins, they have yet another 10-win season. You're either going to have Auburn win and go 6-6 and Alabama fall to 9-3, or vice versa, Alabama would win and they go 10-2 and Auburn is shy of a bowl game, even with an interim coach at 5-7. A good question too. I want to hear from you guys. Do y'all think Cadillac Williams is going to be the long-term coach? And if not, who do you think it's going to be? I have heard rumors. Please let it be true. Please let it be true, Jesus. I've heard rumors that are going after Bill O'Brien a little bit. I've heard rumors of I had someone send me something last night. I'm trying to think of who it was. Not the person that sent it to me. I'm trying to think of who they're going after. I can't remember for the life of me. There's a couple candidates out there. In my opinion, I think it was a mistake to let Gus Malzahn go to UCF. I know that's crazy. I know it was up and down, but he still got you 10-win bowl games and beat Alabama on a more regular basis. He did so much for Auburn. I know it wasn't going to be a championship type of coach. I know outside of that 2013 season when they did make the title against Florida State, which the Seminoles won, I just think, man, Gus Malzahn did so much for Auburn. He also did a lot of stupid stuff and had some bad recruiting classes and bad seasons. But for the most part, man, like it might have been inconsistent. And that's what Auburn's looking for is they're not looking necessarily right now for a coach that will right away win a championship, but they want a head coach that can consistently recruit, can consistently compete with Georgia and Alabama. That should be the two goals of Auburn right now, honestly. That being said, I'll go ahead and get into my prediction. The spread is 22 points. I don't think we cover in this game. I don't. I think we're close to it. I do expect Auburn to put some points up. I think Alabama, for the most part, plays good defense. I think it's going to look better on the field than it does on paper in a way. Auburn's going to get a couple field goals. They'll score a touchdown here or there, I'm sure. They'll compete. But overall, I expect Alabama to pull away big in the second half and get the victory. That being said, I give you the Iron Bowl score prediction from Ballard Sports Media. And we will be live for the game on Saturday. I promise. I give you the final score of 38-20. 20 points. Is that too generous? Is that too much for Auburn? I think 38 for Alabama is right and accurate. We're scoring 40 a game. We're giving up 17, and Auburn scoring around 24 and a half. Game time weather, by the way, will be 65 degrees, so it'll be a little cool out. Is it going to be a packed stadium? I don't know what to expect as far as that. I know Iron Bowl tickets are expensive, and I'm sure there will be a lot of people. I don't know if it'll be packed. But I think with Jahmyr Gibbs, Ja'Cory Brooks, Trayshawn Holden, I think Alabama's got the weapons for a good offensive performance. Auburn has some good offense with Tank Bigsby, but, it's not what Alabama has. Auburn's going to get some points. They're going to try to compete. They're going to try to stay in this game. But overall, I think Alabama pulls away towards the end of the fourth quarter, maybe puts the final nail in the coffin, and they get the victory. So I'm going to go 38-20, Alabama in the Iron Bowl, the 87th, right? The 87th edition of the Iron Bowl, and they get their 49th win in the series, almost at 50. So 2 more Iron Bowl wins, and we'll have 50 Iron Bowl wins, and that would be incredible. So I love y'all. Jesus loves you. He's got a great plan. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I know you're watching this on Friday as it's premiering, but I do hope y'all had a great Thanksgiving, ate a lot of good food, spent time with family, just love on people, and comment below what you're thankful for too. I am always curious. I know people say family and everything, but if there's anything specific, let me know what you're thankful for, man. I really would appreciate it. 38-20, Alabama wins over Auburn in the Iron Bowl. Love you guys. Jesus loves you. Happy Thanksgiving. God bless. And like I always say, roll Tide. Ballard Sports Media, check it out. Y'all have a good one.
Baby, let's go. Alabama anthem. Don't throw your hands up. Put up your onion. I ain't talking about Atlanta. I'm talking about the ham. I'm talking about the deal. ALABA, this what I live. Alabama, while I was born. Alabama, where I'm Alabama anthem. Don't throw your hands up. Put up your onion. I ain't talking about Atlanta. I'm talking about the ham. I'm talking about the deal. ALABA, this what I live. Alabama, while I was born.